Hey, it's John and Mike, brew-dudes.com. We're continuing our Jar of Destiny series. This is beer number 2 from our pick number 13 that was done in early 2025. My pick is from the 2015 BJCP lineup. This is 23E Gueuze. And, we do have that, I guess, element to the picks where one can throw the pick back into the jar.
Yep.
But knowing that I had some sour beer, lambic style beer in my basement, I said, oh, we can do this. So let's talk about the style. We'll talk about what I did and what we have in front of us. So Gueuze is a complex, pleasantly sour but balanced wild Belgian wheat beer that is highly carbonated and very refreshing. In the flavor, it's moderately sour. The character is classically in balance with malt, wheat, and barnyard characteristics, everyone's favorite flavor descriptor. The aroma, moderately sour aroma blends with, again, aroma is described as barnyard, leather, earthy, goaty, hay, all kinds of wonderful things you want in your beer. Color should be golden. Overall, this is highly carbonated with lots of head that tends to go on forever and all that stuff. Okay, so what did I do? Like I said, I had some...
I didn't do anything.
I didn't do anything. I bought a bottle at the store and this is what we're having. No, so I had a few, like I said, sour beers sitting in my basement just waiting for the right moment to pour them.
Waiting for Destiny?
Probably Destiny or just pouring them down the drain. But Destiny took over, so I did decide I needed to brew something that was more newly created to blend with the older stuff. So let's talk about the newly created beer, and then we'll talk about what the blend is. The ingredients for this, learned this from our friend Jamil from his Brewing Classic Styles, using extract to make the malt profile. Extract for me was 55% Pilsner dry malt extract, 45% wheat dry malt extract. We're trying to figure out how to get to an original gravity of 1055. Okay, so figure out the pounds you need to get to that number. Hops. My brother, rescued a hop bind from the old lot down the street. We figured out the alpha acids were really low. They're kind of ornamental hops. But he gave me a whole bunch to making tea and things like that. So I used those hops I just did like a 1 ounce pinch for a 60-minute boil into this beer. For yeast, kind of two different things. Did a half packet of Fermentis Safe Ale US 05 American Ale dry yeast, and then 1 packet of a Lallemand Wild Brew Philly Sour, to try to, get some sour notes going there. Let's continue on with this.
Let's continue.
Spring water with this. Boiled for an hour, fermented for 28 days in a plastic bucket at 75 degrees Fahrenheit to just try to, get as much as I could get from, the blend of microbes that I put into the wort. After that, I gave that a taste, and honestly, it wasn't that sour. The newly created one was more, other things were coming through. It was getting more of, I'd say kind of a little more of the horse blankety taste. If I had, I may have blended, I should probably had a larger percentage of that newly created beer in this, but I had a 5-year, I'm just going to round up, a 5-year-old sour ale that was in my basement at a 3-year, and I had the newest batch. And so I did 3 parts.
Which is the extract thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Great.
And then, so actually all of these kind of follow that the same pattern of that extract percentages. This blend for the Gueuze, 3 parts of the 3-year, 1 part of the 5-year, and 1 part of the newest batch.
Now, I've tasted the 3 and the 5 before.
Oh, yeah.
We've played with these before.
Yes,
Okay.
Yes.
Yep. Just trying to be...
The 3-year actually, when I tasted it, I could have tasted that like straight up. That would be great, you know. And I thought, okay, well, that's probably the best. 5 years started getting more of the horsey taste, and then I thought the newly created was more.
I wish that there was a way to describe the aroma completely to people. It is right away. There's a lot of like this bready, almost like baked, like a baked bagel crust type of aroma. There's a very subtle amount of like, I can get a subtle amount of acetic acid. There's a little bit of there's definitely a floral fruit-like component to it that Brettanomyces sort of like, I always describe it a little bit like cherry-like, but it's not super fruity. It's just maybe almost like a cherry blossom. And I swear, the way all those things are playing together, I can almost, then in my mind, I keep on thinking I'm smelling a little bit of like salt. It's really weird. But man, I love sniffing it. Then the other thing I've noticed while you were discussing it is when I'm done sniffing it now, if I just give it a little bit of a run here, a little bit of a whirl, now it changes, and I can smell the 5 year, right? I can smell that. There's a little bit of like a vicinal ketone note to it, which nobody's going to know what that means, but there's like there is that horsiness.
Yeah.
There's definitely horsiness, but you have to like liberate it, which is making it superly interestingly complex, right?
Yeah.
The layers are crazy. For blending 5 year, 3 year, and then this new batch together, the lacing, the foam is just stupid on this thing, like stupid.
So we can talk more about the process. So I kegged this. I used a mini keg.
Yep.
And I pumped it with CO2 at like 40 psi. You know, for 5 days. I didn't shake it, but I just thought if I fill it up and I pump it, let's see what we get. I really wanted to get, you know, all the descriptors said highly carbonated.
Yes.
And like to do that for this particular series, I'm gonna need to force it.
Yeah. I mean, just to help liberate aromas. I mean, that's what I think was really happening there. The flavor on it, the very first sip of it, I was like, it was not what I was expecting. I was expecting a lot of dryness and a lot of sourness, but it's not. There's actually quite a bit of, from I think your 1 year, your new batch, created, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of residual body there almost, and I can taste the wheat, and it's super pleasant. It's soft, it's malty, but then there's a very pleasant, very manageable, complex sourness. Yes, it's acidic, but I'm getting notes of like pear and that cherry horse blanket thing. Interestingly enough, there's just barely a hint of that astringent tannic quality that I remember some of these had it like in spades, but it's so almost as if it had been in a barrel, right? Like it's very subtle. It's a balancing note. I mean, it's that part is like what's really, because it's not there right away, but then you really realize that, oh, there's a little bit of tannic quality to it.
So
really cool.
Let's talk about it. Like, so this all got put into a keg that's like 1.5 gallons.
Yep.
I've been drinking this, you know, over the last few days just to see how it was coming together.
Yeah.
And I was happy with it. You know, it's not it's not my go-to.
Yep.
It's not something that I'm super experienced with.
Yep.
I've been happy with it. I thought it was, you know, when I was pouring it, it was super strong on the nose.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it's gonna wake you up.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you enjoyed it, because I can sniff this and say like, am I getting too strong of a vinegar note on this? But it's not present in the taste. And I know that you were saying, like, when we first poured it, you were like, oh, it smells like bubble gum.
Yeah,
You were getting that
the
from
early
across the
aromas were
room.
bubble gum. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, which was really cool. Which is why then when I tasted it and smelled it, it's not that. I mean,
Yeah.
the early pour, fresh out of the keg, those early volatiles are gone now.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm sure if we let this sit longer and I keep swirling it around,
Yeah.
it might just become more and more horse blanket.
Sure.
But I think two things. One, like I said, as a connoisseur of beer flavor and beer structure and all that stuff, this totally is satisfying as a beer lover. Two, in the spirit of what Gueuze is, which is regional,
Sure.
Essentially farmhouse, right?
Wild yeast,
Breweries holding on to batches and having a continuous blend of product, making a new product. This hits that, the theory of that and the spirit of that is really what I'm trying to say. To a T, it is exactly that. You've had these things, you're holding on to these things. I mean, good on you for doing that, because we talked about the jar, how you're going to pull off a Gueuze, which requires these things. Good thing you pulled it, because I dumped most of my stuff like that, right? So I have a few bottles left, but I'm not going to open up bottles to do this. So,
No.
So anyway, I think it's super fun, super whatever. If you've got the space and you want to try to do it, make a sour beer right now and hold on to it for 5 years, and 2 years from now make another and do it. It's fun. It's fun.
All right. I think that's all I have to say. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Again, I like to drink, so here you go. Hopefully, if you have a chance to brew sour beers, I don't know, get wild with it. Open up that fermenter top and see what critters get into it and see what you get out of it. Why not? It's always a good time. And certainly, if you have enough, you can blend it into something that's a little more, enjoyable. So there you go. Thank you. That concludes pick number 13 of our Jar of Destiny series. Of course, we have next week, we have to pick again, pick number 14. And we'll see what the jar has in store for us after we, consult it in the next video. Thanks for watching. Like this video if you like it. Subscribe to our channel. We kind of do this sort of thing every single week. For John and Mike, brewed-dudes.com. Brew on.
Cheers.